Harper sat back down, expression unreadable. That was the most dangerous woman in this yard, making sure you know she noticed you. But why? Harper shrugged. Everyone likes useful people and outsiders. You're both Olivia didn't like the sound of that. It gets familiar, Harper said. That's not the same thing. Olivia turned on her side, clutching the thin blanket. The reality of her new world pressed in tighter with every breath. The walls felt too close. The air felt too stale. After breakfast, Olivia went to orientation. The counselor, Ms. Leach, laid out the rules. Rule number 1, she said, don't owe anyone anything. A favor here is never free. Olivia thought of Madison's smirk. Rule number 2, if someone asks what you're in for, you don't have to answer, but silence invites rumors. Later, Ms. Leach spoke to Olivia privately. Harper seems to have taken you under her wing. That's good. She warned Olivia about Madison. She's powerful here. Just be careful. During yard time, Harper confirmed Olivia's fears. Madison's not done with you. Suddenly, they noticed guards acting strangely near the fence. A short, sharp siren blared. Everyone freeze. A guard yelled. Harper whispered, someone took something. Cutting tools, the yard was sent back to their cells. As they left, Olivia saw Madison smiling, as if this was all for her amusement. That night, Olivia heard a noise. A soft scrape coming from the vent above her bed. Metal Harper's eyes widened. Whatever's going on, it's connected to what happened today.
Ava woke before the morning bell. In prison, she learned that the real danger wasn't loud, it was quiet. Quiet hallways, quiet stairs, quiet conversations that stopped when she walked by. And that morning, the silence in the unit felt heavier than usual. Like the air itself knew something she didn't. She sat upright on her narrow bunk, rubbing her hands together. Her first week had taught her enough. You listened to your instincts, because instincts were the only thing in prison that still belonged to you. The bell finally blared, echoing through concrete walls. Dorm doors slid open, and the unit stirred with groans, shuffling feet, and the clinking of metal cups. But even in all that noise, Ava noticed who wasn't moving. The upper tier was still. Too still. Don't look too hard, Maya muttered from the bunk below. You don't want to know yet. Know what? Ava whispered. Maya gave her a look that meant ask me again after count, not now. So Ava grabbed her stay-tissued sweatshirt and followed the others toward the day room for morning. Roll call. The daily ritual felt like an assembly line. Stand on your number, wait for officers to confirm you existed, then march to breakfast whether hungry or not. Officer Grant swept her clipboard across the rows. Her expression unreadable when she reached the end of the count. She turned toward her radio and said something Ava couldn't make out. But she noticed the crease of worry between the officer's eyebrows. Something was happening, and whatever it was, the inmates had known before the guards did. Breakfast was worse. No talking. No joking. No typical inmate drama. People took seats in clusters that looked more like emergency meetings than casual meals. A few inmates kept glancing at Ava, subtle, quick looks, like they were checking if she belonged to anyone. Why is everyone acting weird? Ava asked Maya as they sat with their trays of watery oatmeal and hard toast. Because someone talked last night, Maya whispered. Ava's heart tightened. About what? Maya didn't respond. Instead, she scanned the cafeteria, her eyes moving sharply from table to table. It was the look of someone who had been in the system long enough to recognize a war before it started. Finally she leaned in, keeping her voice low. There's a code here. Nobody breaks it. Someone did. Ava swallowed. The code of silence. Maya nodded. What happens now? Maya tapped her spoon on the tray twice. It was a nervous habit, Ava realized. Nothing. If we're lucky. But we're not lucky. Ava stared at her oatmeal, appetite gone. What did someone talk about? She asked. Maya sighed. A fight. A serious one. One of the younger girls got cornered after. Lights out in the showers. She told the guard instead of settling it with her people. That's a violation. And in here, violations have consequences. Ava felt nausea rise in her throat. She didn't want to imagine the details, and thankfully Maya didn't describe any. She didn't have to. The weight of it was enough. So it's going to get worse. It always gets worse before it gets calm, Maya said. Later that morning, during work assignments, the tension finally broke. Ava had been assigned to laundry duty, a maze of steaming machines and piles of uniforms that smelled like detergent and mildew. He folded shirts quietly, trying not to attract attention, but even in the laundry room, whispers traveled faster than the spin cycles. They moved her to protective custody. She shouldn't have snitched. I heard they're planning something. They won't do anything big. Not with the new warden watching. Ava kept her head down. She didn't know who they were, but she knew enough to stay out of it. When the work buzzer rang, she followed Maya out of the room, but Officer Grant intercepted them. Ava Ramirez, Grant said. Warden wants to see you. Ava felt the eyes of every inmate around her, some curious, some suspicious, some calculating. What did I do? Ava whispered. Grant shook her head. Just come with me. Ava followed reluctantly, her stomach twisting as she was led into the administration wing. She'd never been on this side of the facility. Cleaner floors, brighter lights, quiet hallways. A different world entirely. Warden Hale waited in her office, arms folded, expression stern but not unfriendly. Sit, she said. Ava sat. I want to talk about your first week here, the warden began. Did I do something wrong? Ava asked. No, but I'm not sure you understand the environment around you. Hale leaned forward. There's been tension in your unit, and your name has come up. A chill crawled down Ava's spine. My name. Not as someone causing trouble, but as someone new, and some inmates seem interested in pulling you into factions. I'm not joining anything. Ava said quickly. Good, the warden replied. This facility has groups that run themselves like small governments. You stay neutral unless you want extra problems. Ava nodded tightly. The warden studied her for a moment. Tell me something honestly. Has anyone approached you, influenced you, threatened you? No, Ava said. They've left me alone. For now, Hale corrected. But things are shifting. If you feel unsafe, you come directly to me. Understand? Ava did, but she also knew that in prison, go into the administration came with its own dangers. Warden Hale walked her to the door. Use your head. Use your judgment. And don't let them drag you into their wars. Ava stepped back into the hallway with the warden's words echoing in her mind. When she returned to the unit, everything had changed. Two inmates were arguing loudly near the day room. Officers tried to separate them, but the shouting only got worse. Inmates gathered around, some cheering, some pretending not to care, others whispering furiously. Ava moved toward her bunk, hoping to stay invisible. But she wasn't invisible. As she climbed the stairs to her tier, a woman with braided hair and sharp eyes stepped into her path. You're Ramirez, right? The woman said. Ava froze. Yeah, the woman looked her up and down. I'm Trinity. I run this tier. Ava had heard the name. Everyone had. Trinity wasn't the loudest or the strongest, but she was the one people listened to and the one they feared when they didn't. Trinity leaned closer. You met with the warden today. Ava's pulse spiked. She called me. I didn't ask for it. Trinity nodded slowly, like she was analyzing every breath Ava took. I know, word travels fast. Ava swallowed. I didn't say anything. I'm not worried about that, Trinity said. I'm worried about who you'll be standing next to when things get messy. I don't want to stand on any side, Ava whispered. Trinity smiled faintly. Everyone stands somewhere. Even people like you. Ava wanted to ask what that meant, but Trinity stepped aside, allowing her to pass. Just as Ava started to walk away, Trinity added, a storm is coming, Ramirez. You better know where you're gonna stand when the lights go out. Ava didn't respond. She didn't trust her voice not to shake. Nighttime in prison always felt different, like the darkness had its own personality. But that night, the tension was so thick Ava felt it pressing against her chest. Maya climbed into her bunk early. Listen, she whispered. Don't leave the tier after lights out. And whatever you hear tonight, don't react. Ava's breath caught. What's going to happen? Nothing to you, Maya said. Not if you stay quiet. But they're settling business. You don't want any part of it. Ava didn't argue. She nodded, climbed into her bunk, and pulled the blanket close. Lights flicked off. The unit sank into darkness. Minutes passed. Then muffled voices. Then footsteps. Then nothing. A long stretch of eerie silence. Ava's heartbeat thudded in her ears. She didn't move. She didn't breathe too loudly. She didn't dare look down from her bunk. After what felt like an hour, the lights snapped on for a surprise check. Officers stormed the unit, yelling orders. Inmates sat up groaning, annoyed and confused. Ava pretended to wake up like everyone else, but she knew the truth. Something had happened in the dark, something silent, something planned, and when officers escorted two inmates out of the unit, their faces tight with anger and fear. Ava realized Maya had been right. The code of silence ruled everything here, and tonight. Ava had witnessed without actually seeing what happened to people who broke it. She lay back in her bunk, trembling with the knowledge she hadn't asked for. This wasn't just a prison. It was a world with its own laws, its own power, its own justice. And Chapter 4 would force Ava to choose, stay invisible, or survive by becoming someone she never imagined she'd have to be. Ava didn't sleep at all that night, even after the surprise check, even after the officers pulled two inmates out of the unit, even after the lights returned to normal. The weight of the silence lingered over everything. There were no whispers, no arguments, no footsteps in the hallway, just a stillness that felt unnatural. When the morning bell rang, it startled her so hard she nearly fell off her bunk. Maya sat up slowly, rubbing her temples. "You okay?" Ava nodded. No, it wasn't true. What happened last night? Maya didn't answer immediately. She stretched her arms, glanced around the unit, and lowered her voice. The code of silence handled it. That's all you need to know. Ava hated that answer. It wasn't an explanation, it was a warning, but she'd learned enough in these past weeks to recognize questions that weren't safe to ask. So she swallowed the frustration and climbed down from the bunk. Joining the slow-moving line heading toward Count, the unit felt different. People who used to laugh kept their heads down. The social groups, once loud and unmistakable, were scattered and tense. Even Trinity stood on her tier with her arms crossed, scanning the room like she was counting chess pieces. Not people pieces. And Ava felt it clearly for the first time. She wasn't just living in a prison. She had been dropped into a battlefield. During breakfast, no one dared speak above a whisper. The guards noticed, too. Ava could see it in the way Officer Grant kept looking around the room, alert and uneasy. "You feel that?" Maya murmured from across the table. Ava nodded. "What is it?" Maya leaned in. "It's the calm after something big, but before something bigger." Ava's stomach tightened. "Bigger?" Maya didn't answer. And that terrified Ava more than any rumor.
Later that morning, Ava was back in the laundry room when two officers entered. One of them a tall, serious-looking man she didn't recognize. Ramirez Officer Grant said, "Step out." Ava froze again. She followed them through the hallway, unable to hide her fear. The new officer kept glancing at her as if trying to decide something. They didn't take her to the warden's office. They took her to a door she had seen before, a plain metal door with no sign and a key lock instead of a keypad. Grant knocked twice. The door opened from the inside. Warden Hale stood before her. "Come in," the warden said. "We need to talk." Ava stepped inside reluctantly. It was a small conference room, plain walls, a table, 3 chairs, no windows, no warmth. The warden sat at Ava. "Something happened last night. Something that affects you more than you realize." "I didn't see anything," Ava blurted. "I didn't hear anything. This isn't about guilt," Hale replied firmly. It's about safety and clarity. Ava fell silent. The warden nodded to the tall officer. This is Investigator Weston. He's been assigned to review an internal intelligence matter involving several inmate factions. Ava felt confusion wash over her. Why me? Weston sat across from her. His expression wasn't unfriendly, just calculating, because, he said carefully, your name has started circulating between groups who usually want nothing to do with each other. Ava blinked. My name? Why? That's what we want to know, the warden said. Weston continued, whatever happened in the dark last night wasn't random. It was coordinated. And according to our informants, your arrival in this facility is connected. Ava shook her head. No, I'm not connected to anything. I don't know anyone here. That's what makes this troubling, Weston said. Someone wants you aligned with them, and someone else wants to make sure you don't align with anyone at all. Ava felt her throat tighten. What does that even mean? Warden Hale leaned forward. It means you're being targeted. Not for harm, at least not yet, but for recruitment, influence. She paused. Power. Ava shook her head. I'm nobody. I don't have any power. Not yet, Weston corrected. But you're new. You're smart. You don't owe loyalty to any of the factions, and that makes you more valuable than you understand. Ava's pulse quickened. What do they want from me? Information, Haley replied. Movement, access, influence inside the tier, connection to inmates you barely know. Weston added, there's an underground network, a shadow communication chain that runs through this facility, and someone thinks you can help them expand it. I can't, Ava said. I won't. That's good, the warden replied, because if you do, there's no coming back from it. Ava stared at the table, mind spinning. She had come to prison expecting isolation, punishment, maybe fear. She hadn't expected politics. She hadn't expected to become a piece on a chessboard. Weston folded his hands. We're giving you a choice, Ava. You can work with us quietly and help us understand who Eston's trying to pull you in. He paused. Or you can pretend none of this is happening. And what happens if I pretend? Ava asked shakily. The warden answered without hesitation. Then you will be alone, completely alone, and the shadows will decide where you belong. Ava felt the room closing in. I need time, she whispered. You have 12 hours, Hale said.
Ava returned to the unit with her mind racing. As soon as she stepped inside, she felt dozens of eyes on her. Some curious, some suspicious, some far too interested. Trinity waited on the stairs. Arms folded. Busy morning, she asked. Ava kept her voice steady. Just a meeting, Trinity. Lifted an eyebrow. With who? Ava didn't answer. Trinity stepped closer, lowering her voice. Ramirez. Don't let them use you. Ava stiffened. Who's trying to use me? Trinity's expression hardened. Everybody. Ava swallowed. What do you want from me, Trinity? Trinity studied her, searching for something in Ava's face. Finally she said softly, I want you to stay breathing. Ava blinked. That's all, for now. Trinity leaned in. But if they came to you, then the others will, too. Be careful who you talk to. Why me? Ava whispered. Because you're new. And new people change the balance. Ava felt her hands trembling. Trinity noticed. Calm down, she said. You're not in danger right this second. But you need to choose your lane before someone chooses it for you. Eva nodded nervously. I'll be careful. Trinity stepped aside, letting Eva pass, but as Eva reached the top of the stairs, she heard Trinity's voice. Low and deliberate, and Ramirez, if you ever want the real truth about what's happening here, come find me at Lights Out. Eva froze. Lights out, the most dangerous time in the prison. But before she could respond, Trinity walked away.